Why is the human race on planet Earth? Fundamentally, I think to experience what planet Earth really is, but particularly to experience it as a soul. I see the soul as something that is essentially timeless in nature. It doesn't exist in a dimension of physical space and time, and it's formless until there is a need or desire or intention programmed into it to give it some kind of form or direction. And I see this as, in a way, the journey of the soul. Not the journey of a human being necessarily, but the journey of a soul. And I think each and every one of us, as a soul, needs to know who are we? Where do we come from? How does all of this exist? How did life, how did the universe come into existence? And that's a question or a need that you can't satisfy in one lifetime, on one place. I think the soul, which is an expression of also the collective reality of life, it needs to know what this is all about, and it needs to give it meaning. Now, when I look at the natural world on planet Earth, I see great intelligence, I see tremendous awareness. Everything is aware, everything is awake, from atoms to galaxies. But they all have, each individual life form has a parameter to its consciousness. This parameter can expand, but usually within the natural world it only expands because there is the need to know something more than what is immediately present through your senses. And that is when an animal experiences instinctive knowledge. How does a young bird know how to migrate to another country where it has never been there before? Because it's intuitively or clairvoyantly tuning into the knowledge of its species, and it just knows. But when I look at the natural world, I don't see any other animal, apart from the human being and possibly the dolphin, that is self-aware and thinking. Now, thinking, or being able to think, gives us the possibility to give meaning to life, because otherwise we just are aware and awake of what is, but we're not detached from it. We're totally at one with it, which is what I see all natural life forms being on this planet, and I imagine elsewhere. But thinking gives you the ability to detach yourself from the world so you can question it, so you can actually ask why, which you can't do if you can't think. And I think it's the purpose of the soul to eventually reach a point of self-awareness, and once it has achieved self-awareness as a consciousness, it then feels the need to answer these existential questions that we have about who are we, where do we come from, what is the source of life. And that process, we then embark on a journey that needs to take us to many planets, different environments that will teach us different things. And I see planet Earth as almost like a school where you go to learn. And you can't learn all the lessons of planet Earth in one lifetime. You can't learn the most important thing, which is to be able to love, in my view. And if you realise it in one lifetime, it's because you've had many lifetimes of not realising it and not living it. And I think it's one of the reasons why they're actually here. Apart from the fact that when I say they, I'm particularly talking about a majority group that are here that have stimulated our very development from the word go, genetically interfered with the development of species forms on this planet until a humanoid form came into being. I see the humanoid form as a universal archetype for self-aware, thinking, intelligent, conscious beings in physical form. It's essential, it's needed, and that's why many of them out there are also in humanoid form. But when I look at the story of Earth, I almost feel like notice that there's been a lot of genetic interaction going on between species forms, and I think some of that has been artificially stimulated until the humanoid form developed on this world, and then they stood back, and then they came later. And that the origin of the races on this planet were actually originally ETs that came here to live, to colonize, to experience the vibration of planet Earth. And in doing that, in really truly doing it, which you have to throw off your civilization, throw off your culture, your technology, you have to let go of it, which would result in them living very simply and eventually in tribal ways, which then has an added possible problem in that you may forget. You may forget who you are. And this is something that has been repeated many times through different contactees and others who've had encounters, is this information that there was at some moment in our distant history like a major fall, like a forgetting of where they originally came from. And the result of that forgetting was going out of balance with planet Earth. And I think fear of the world, fear of each other, fear of not being able to survive, which must be the primary concern of any young, developing individual, group, civilization, culture. Fear has been our major stumbling block, and it still is. And it's what causes our forgetting. And it leads to all of the decisions that we take in life that eventually create the thought form of the world we live in, that create the society with the problems that it has, the technology that is inappropriate and out of balance with the natural world.